welcome to Couple of Instigators. We are back after a very long hiatus. And I have Jen today, back, hey. Of course. And we have Rachel today, too.
No.
Yeah, so, here's the thing. We took a break. I was just explaining to Rachel that, our podcast, we like to talk about stupid news, kind of rip on a lot of the ridiculous things we find on the internet, the instigating I do, which I have to say during this hiatus, I have done a lot of instigating on the internet, Jen. Fox News, I've had a lot of tremendous entertainment. We will discuss that. I got into a few Trump supporter cult-like Facebook groups. Oh my God, the joy they brought me. They've brought me a lot of joy doing this. But other than that, I was like, it's the holidays, let's take a break. We'll come back. And, maybe there'll be this political drama will be over and we can get back to the stupid news. But the political drama just gets worse and worse. So I'm like, fuck it, we're coming back. And we're going to have to talk politics because what else is there right now? And we have our favorite Canadian, Jen, and I love to have her opinion of what they think of America. And now
it's not good.
It's not good for real. So, and I also have a little political basement group that I started up during the beginning of all this drama. So when do you think I started, like around Christmas time or even before?
No, before that. It was before the election.
Yeah. So it was just like, for me, I can't post all that political stuff on my regular Facebook or my Instagram because I really try to keep that light and mostly try to do stuff about comedy, which I haven't done. Comedy's dead. But besides that, I thought, well, my girlfriend's on call during all of this too, so she's like shuffling around me. So I'm sorry if I'm distracted. We both kind of have like the dining room table covered in our shit. So I started this little basement group that I could just primarily post and read political things with like-minded people. Because on my Facebook, if I post something political, I don't know about you, Rachel, but I have a lot of friends that don't believe the same things I do. But nonetheless, they're my Facebook friends. They're my friends in real life. And the fighting and the embarrassment, because they make asses out of themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I can't, so I enjoy our little basement group. I post my ridiculous things. We all laugh. And Rachel is somebody in our group who's posting, and she's, very much into politics. She's knowledgeable, and she lives in Trump country. So.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes. So it is always, so you've got a lot of miserable people. I work in Trump country. And all of our customers since the election have been miserable, especially like men that, because of COVID, we have a pickup window. We're not letting people in. They just pick their food up now at the window. And when I see a truck pull up with an American and Confederate flag hanging off the back, I know that's going to be a miserable customer.
For sure.
Yeah. But nonetheless, they still do. I can't even imagine, like, still carrying a Confederate flag.
But that's the thing, though. They're not embarrassed. Like, I don't understand. Like, put your head between your legs and just go disappear. You lost. It's over. Like, they're just amped up now. And it blows my mind watching it.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of friends that were Trump supporters, but not hardcore. Like, he lost and that's it. They don't say, you know what I mean? It's done. It's done. I only have a couple who are Kool-Aid drinkers, and I can't post it on my Facebook. I had to block a couple because they literally would post like the most outrageous and say the most crazy things. And I'm like, I can't have this shit on my page,
No. Can you imagine, like, when Hillary lost, if people had, like, acted like this?
Yeah, I know.
Republicans would have been losing their minds.
Right. And the thing that really gets me is that a lot of people, I listen to Fox News quite a bit. We put it on at work all day. For me, because I really have to listen to the other side. It just helps me a lot more to, kind of get some perspective. And there's certain hosts on Fox that are very moderate, you know what I mean? And then there's the ones that are just way out there, like the Laura Ingraham, like they are Kool-Aid drinkers for real. And then CNN, some of them are just like, you have to watch both, because I promise you the truth is in the middle. Yeah, because sure. I can totally, one thing with Trump I can agree about, and it's for both sides, is that the media can be so deceiving and one-sided. That's the one thing I will. I can't stand when they cut shit up. You know what I mean? Like, and they make it sound 10 times worse than.
Just use that little clip, not the whole sentence.
Right, and I'm not for that. And both sides do it, so that's why I feel like you kind of have to be in the middle. And I always, obviously we all knew Trump was not well, but never would I have thought it would have came to this.
Yeah,
never.
When I first heard back in 2016 that he was going to run for president, my husband and I were together, and I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, he is going to get us killed. And it wasn't, I thought that because I remembered the fight he had with Rosie O'Donnell, and he just can't take criticism.
Oh, I'm a huge Howard Stern fan. I've been like, I gotta tell you, I love The Apprentice. I loved Trump when he was on Stern. I love Trump as an entertainer, not as, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
I thought there's no way he's going to be able to handle like Kim Jong-un being like, you're a fat ass or, whatever, Yeah. Start a war. He'd be like, give me the football, which I guarantee he probably thought it was an actual football. I thought that.
100%.
Yeah.
Those old telephone footballs with the numbers on it, that's where he put in the code. He was so sure.
Yeah. After, his little, rally he did. And then when they all marched to the Capitol, there was nothing. I was like, can you imagine? Just like Joe Biden said, my first thought was, if this was a Black Lives Matter, number one, they wouldn't have gotten 10 blocks close.
No.
And they would have all been shot or gassed, or, you know what I mean? Look what they did to them just so Trump could march to the church with his Bible.
Yeah. Upside down at that. He held it upside down.
I was just like so confused as to what went wrong. Do you feel like I knew it was coming just from all the posts. I'm on Parler. I read all those. I knew that they were planning on, but I thought they'd have security. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, especially considering the whole, everybody, all of Congress
was in session.
You guys ever see that show Designated Survivor?
Yes.
That's a real thing. Andrew Cuomo was a designated survivor for a number of years when he was the Secretary of Urban Housing and Development. And when the weekend Trump was inaugurated, that was the leading social media, trending term, was designated survivor.
Oh.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's it. It is. The fact that anybody could have got in, and there's a mob, don't get me wrong, obviously, right? But that little bit of security when they're in session is insane to me to begin with.
Yeah.
Plus knowing he was having that rally, I think the mayor claims she called for the National Guard 2-3 days before. And I remember the mayor saying she wanted everything closed down at 6:00 on the 6th, right? That was the date that it happened, right? It was the 6th. And Trump, I was listening to him somewhere, and he was mocking her for closing everything down, calling her weak and because she closed all the businesses down around there. And so she kind of knew. She knew that there could have been problems. And I feel like he had something to do with blocking them getting more security. Like, that police officer's blood is definitely on his hands, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I thought that a couple days before, I remembered reading something that the Pentagon had given their okay for the National Guard to be called in. So I was very confused why the National Guard wasn't there and why
they weren't. And the guy said it take like, by the time Pence had to call him, number one, by the time he calls them, remember, those are civilians that have to suit up and get there. So it's not like they're ready. I have a couple friends that are in the National Guard. You know what I mean? They have to get called up. They got to leave work. They just don't show up.
Well, and there's also something, Washington or DC isn't a state, so them themselves cannot call them in. It has to be federally called in, I believe. I think that's what happened. And somebody fix me on that, because not my country, not my rules, but that's the way I understand what happened, is they don't actually have, like, say it happened in Ohio. The head of Ohio could be like, hey, National Guard, we need you here ASAP. And they all come. There's nobody actually there to do that job. So then you're waiting for somebody, I guess, in Washington to do it. And like, that's probably paperwork and all kinds of crap to get it to okay before everybody agrees, okay, yeah, we need the National Guard to come in.
Yeah. I mean, I watched, I've seen a ton of the footage because obviously I watch CNN and Fox, so they both will just show what, they serves them well. But there was CNN keeps showing those cops that just opened up the gates and let them in, and CNN,
is that true? Did that really happen?
Oh yeah, you can see it right on video. They and then part of me is like, well, they probably saw that crowd coming and was like, fuck this, we ain't gonna be able to stop them, but they did open them up. And then there was a couple cops what do you call the Capitol Police that were taking selfies with some of them. And then of course Fox had the crowd just pummeling some of those cops,
I do think part of it is a race issue though.
Oh yeah.
They never assumed that the white boys are going to get there and do anything. Like, they're going to get to the stairs and they're going to take pictures and they're going to be like, yay, we did it. And maybe like pull out a little podium and have a speech and Trump should have won and we're still backing our president and blah, 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 blah. I realistically don't know that they thought they were going as far as they did.
Yeah, well,
which they should, because those guys are insane. And we literally watched that. What was that other page that somebody linked? Like, we literally watched them all leaving and planning on going to do it. Like, they had to have known. So maybe they did, and they were just
but also they found pipe bombs. A lot of them were armed. So, I mean, there was, a lot more. But so let's get back to Trump being booted off of all these social media platforms. And one of my favorite memes was a picture of him golfing with his fat ass. And it said juicy on it. And it said, Trump's not, follow me on my fans only. And then I thought, well, isn't it going to be a shame if Trump has to start, using TikTok to get out his message?
That's insane.
I think TikTok is not, I thought I read something about that yesterday.
I heard everybody, like, right down